Fatigue is one of the chronic problems of the postmodern world. And it's not by chance. But by becoming aware of its origins according to neuroscience, I can provide you with habits that regulate your tiredness and provide a better quality of life and happiness through mental health. Let's go back to our ancestors to begin to understand. The brain of modern man, physiologically, has practically the same physics and chemistry as the brain of prehistoric man. But the caveman's routine was basically the search for food and shelter. Their activities, although tiring and arduous, were limited to the few decisions they would have to make daily. Where and what they would hunt or how they would shelter at night. The ancient prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for making decisions, worked long enough without overload. Now, let's imagine a man's routine in 2025. It's not difficult. When we wake up, we ask ourselves many questions that involve decision making. What clothes will I wear? What's for breakfast? I need to send receipts to the insurance company and send expense reports. What time do I have to leave to be in time for the meeting? What time will I be at the market and will I run out of bacon? What's the best way to get to work today? In the first few minutes of the day, the man of 2025 has already had more thoughts and decisions than prehistoric man would have had all day. Current studies show that we make around 35,000 decisions every day. Approximately 200 just with food. So, nowadays, what happened to his brain, which is practically the same as that of prehistoric man? Your prefrontal cortex is overloaded. With each thought or decision we make, after the neurons are connected, the brain releases a substance called glutamate. And it stays there, accumulating, making new neural connections difficult, making you feel tired. Simply because of our current lifestyle, as our brain is not prepared for it. This is what is called evolutionary mismatch. So how can we deal with this situation? Studies show that the desired and famous afternoon nap causes the brain to improve up to 37% of its capacity. But, to be honest, in our competitive work culture it is very unlikely that you will be able to sleep in the middle of a workday. Other techniques involve reducing the number of decisions to be made, simplify your routine more. Once a week you can decide what meals you will have for the next 5 days. As well as defining and separating the clothes you will wear. It's no coincidence that the wardrobes of Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, and even Albert Einstein look like this. Always the same, reducing decisions to be made. I'm not telling you to go to that extreme. But what they seek with this is the reduction of mental energy drain through reduced production and accumulation of glutamate. Speaking of which, both it and other mental toxins are also cleaned out during sleep, and here comes another habit that involves chronic tiredness in the modern world. Excessive use of caffeine. When making neural connections, your brain produces a substance called adenosine. It is an indicator of when your brain needs to rest. However, caffeine blocks the production of this substance. Imagine yourself in the gym performing repetitions of a muscular exercise. During exercise, your muscle releases substances that make it hurt. It's a kind of protection so you know when to stop and don't have muscle tissue tears. The functioning of the brain has the same logic. Adenosine serves to inform when to stop to maintain good functioning in the short and long term, avoiding excessive mental fatigue. When you ingest caffeine, it temporarily blocks the production of adenosine. But the effect is temporary and increasingly less efficient. Adenosine that is not released at the right time accumulates, leaving you more tired in the short and long term. Most sleep problems and anxiety are due to the cycle of excessive caffeine consumption. Feeling tired? Have coffee. Can't sleep. Wake up tired. And so, the cycle repeats itself. But our chronic fatigue has more than a few villains. Have you ever had the feeling of always being late? Always having to do or access something due yesterday? This feeling comes from excessive digital stimuli. With the bombardment of daily information and endless notifications, all there, in the palm of your hand, ends up awakening in you the feeling of being out of date and a constant need. Suddenly, words like, I need to access Instagram, check TikTok, check my corporate email, I also need to check WhatsApp, which has new updates, in addition to reviewing my dozens of Telegram communities. This has become a worldwide anxiety-producing epidemic. Well, it makes you look for something you can't even imagine what it is. It is very common to click on the notification tab of a social network more than once, even though you know you recently accessed it. It's as if you are in a constant state of alert that generates the need to review social networks and digital media. The cycle repeats every day, hour, and moment, creating an obsessive thought about checking the countless digital tools that appear every day. This gives the false impression that you are missing something. This obsession ends up impacting sleep as the brain ends up sabotaging the need to sleep. Preferring the pursuit of cheap dopamine within easy reach of your palm wherever you are. With something so easily accessible, the tendency is that you end up neglecting the search for physical exercise, preparing a healthy diet, and your social contact. So, you become overstimulated in the search for immediate pleasure. So, to avoid mental fatigue and the depletion of vital energy, simplify your life. Plan your daily decisions like clothing and food for your week, tackling one thing at a time. Respect your brain by not abusing psychoactive substances such as coffee and practice digital hygiene. Access social media to help you add something to your professional projects or lifestyle. Direct yourself to the research you want to do and don't let the countless algorithms clutter your brain to the point of making you obsessive about something that even you don't know what it is. These are simple actions but require awareness to be able to discipline your mind so that unhealthy repetitions for mental health become automatic in you, if you don't already have them automated. Reprogram these habits and elevate your mind forever. Gratitude.